Paul, thanks for joining today.
Thanks for having us.
Let's start a little bit talking about your business, the nature of your business, and what's got you here at Intersect this year.
So I work for Scott Safety, and we've been here many times before. This is my third year actually, but it's a great event for us to be able to showcase our new products. We've got a few new launches this year, which is great. And it's something that we always like to come and do, to share with the Middle East market. Okay,
you've got a particular product launch that you're launching here at this particular show. Do you want to tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a product called Scott Sight, which is launching here. It's been a really interesting product to build actually, because we worked really cllosely with firefighters to try and come up with something that was going to be revolutionary for them and to really make a difference to the way that they fight fires and the way that they work in the environment. And the basic thing of it really is that it's a thermal imaging camera, and we've got a history of making thermal imaging cameras. We managed to mount it on the side of the mask, and then also there's a head-up display, which means that the firefighters can actually see precisely what's going on in the fire. So it's most thermal imaging cameras have been bulky, they've been handheld. So being able to actually give the firefighter both their hands back in terms of being hands-free, but also giving them their sight back. And as soon as you get into a smoky room and you're trying to find your way around, being able to immediately see what's around in the location, to look and see where your colleagues are, is absolutely fantastic. So we're really pleased that we've been able to be the first to market with this.
Absolutely.
And it's been really good fun getting it here as well.
It's early days. Obviously, this is the first day of the show. What's been the reaction to it so far?
Well, actually, it's been launched a little bit longer in the US. So actually, it's been fantastic. We've already had a number of fire departments who had our products before who've switched over to the product now, and they absolutely love it. We've got some great videos that they've been kind of posting on social media, kind of showing how it's the best way of doing it, really, having your customers tell you how wonderful the product is. It's just really completes the cycle for us, because from all of those earlier conversations where we really just tried to get them involved from day one, make sure that the way that we were designing the products was really, rather than having a whole bunch of people inside a company deciding what we think a product should look like, just trying to get it straight out to the firefighters, give them very quick versions, quick and I guess it's rapid prototyping. So I think this time last year we actually came here and parts of this were kind of taped on, and there was other bits that were hanging off, and you think, well, it's a safety product, how do you show a product like that? And in reality it was all about trying to get the field of vision right and trying to get them comfortable.
And were there any major challenges that you experienced then when you were kind of creating that original prototype, kind of feedback that you got, that you took on board to really develop it?
Absolutely. And one of the biggest things with a product like this is that when you're trying to account for everybody's field of vision, you want them to be able to see everything they need to see, but also at a glance be able to see see through the smoke as well. So you don't want to be in the face of the customer and have it too far up in their view, but also when they look down and look through their field of vision, they should be able to see it as well. So actually trying to account for all different types of sight, all different types of firefighters. That was the bit that really Intersect last year helped us with, because we were able to get a lot of people in one go and kind of measure that field of vision and get it just right, so that when we took that back to the engineers, we could get it closer to finalization. So that was a really good opportunity for us. And we'd shown an original version of it at an exhibition a year before. So it kind of it was
just
part of
refining that product over the last couple of years.
And just bringing everyone with us with it as well.
Yeah, no, that's
excellent. But it just means that we've been a lot quicker than probably we had before in terms of innovation. I think one of the challenges of any big company like ours is that you can become inward looking. If you, as I said before, you can get people in the room and they say, right, what do our firefighters need? And then you start building stuff, and then the engineering department want to make it perfect before they show it to anyone. What we really wanted to do is just make sure that we were going through that kind of cycle of build, measure, learn, and then acting a little bit more like a startup than a $10 billion business as we were at the time. So,
absolutely.
So I think you're getting people together, getting the teams together, so that rather than doing this as part of their overall job, everyone was focused, and it was kind of like a hothouse for a few products. And we've done this with this product and also another product which we're able to show here as well, which is more around decontamination. It's all part of that journey of a firefighter. You know, they come out of a, you know, when you one of the biggest issues we have with firefighters is the cancerous or carcinogenics that they're exposed to. Cancer causing carcinogenics, and being able to help them all the way through the process of being in there for a shorter period of time, giving them more situational awareness to know where they are, get the job done quicker. Then when they're out there, we can use our decontamination system to rapidly decontaminate them, then also switch them on to other forms of respiratory, so that as they're kind of off-gassing during the, after they come out of an incident, that they're protected all the way through. So it's kind of like just trying to think about all of the touch points along the way and how we can help them to be safe at all points on that, really. So.
Sounds good. Absolutely. Do you want to talk a little bit about the technology that's in it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I say, it's more about, I would say, trying to find ways of pulling technology together. You know, it's kind of existing elements of what can be done. So there's Bluetooth connection between the head-up display and the actual thermal imaging camera itself. But what that really does is it's almost like two products in one. One is that the head-up display is kind of almost a new platform for feeding information. You know, so now the firefighters have information available. Now we've chosen as the first iteration of that for it to be thermal imaging, and that's an area that we know very well. But there's nothing to say that with the head-up display that more other information couldn't be supplied there.
Of course.
And when you think about the wide range of information that that a firefighter could have, and that maybe they have to find other ways of getting to at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
By actually using the head-up display to give them that platform is really important. After that, what we put in there is really down to that further discussion about, with the firefighters, what do you want to see? How do you want to see it? We don't want to overwhelm them. There's all sorts of things, biometrics, the amount of air left in their tank, all sorts of things that could be there. But the question, I think, with innovation really is not just can you do it, it's should you do it. And
it's prioritising that.
Prioritising it, And the last thing we want to do is overwhelm a firefighter in that environment. So if there's something that's going to be additive to their experience, to help them what they do, then fantastic. If it's going to be innovation for innovation's sake, then that's the kind of feedback we get from them. Is don't just tinker just because you want to do something new. Do it so that it makes a difference.
But there's a benefit there, a real benefit.
I think overall, when you consider all of that, is that when you don all of the protective gear when you go into a fire, you're essentially taking away all sorts of different sensors that they would normally have had.
Right, exactly.
And so really what you're trying to do is return those sensors back to them, be it communication, be it sight, be it touch. All of those things are probably the things that we need to try and help firefighters with over the year as technology develops. So that they feel as comfortable and as knowledgeable and as informed as they can be while they're in the fire.
Okay, excellent. I want to talk a little bit more about your opinion on the industry at the moment. Where do you see the opportunities for growth within your category, within your industry over the next couple of years?
Well, we especially in the Middle East, one of the big things we've been able to do is actually take some of the personal protective products, head and sensory products that we sell quite in huge numbers in the rest of Europe, and actually bring them to the Middle East. And I think the market is more receptive to that. We've kind of started to work with a couple of partners who are very, very keen on the type of product that they've seen in the rest of Europe. So it looks like that's going to be a real growth area for us, because I think the principle of helping workers in any description, be it construction, industry, pharmaceuticals, whatever that is, the perception of making sure that people are as safe as they can be, I think, is growing every year. And maybe it's been a little bit further behind some other parts of the world, but we see that the demand is there for products that that are really going to protect in every way.
Okay.
So I think that's probably some of the things that we'll be pushing ourselves and where we think there's a real opportunity.
And are you looking at purely Middle East focused, or are you looking at other markets outside like Africa or North Africa, or is that something that's just outside your radar?
And I think as each market matures to want a wider set of products from us, we're able to then pick on a fairly big portfolio that we have on a global basis and just cherry pick the right products for the market. And I think that's one of the benefits of being such a diverse company. And one of the things we've recently to develop our business, we actually bought actually 4 gas detection companies across fixed gas and portable gas detection, and that's really kind of expanded our capability. And I think for us, being able to partner both the Scott Safety side and the other brand, Tyco Gas and Flame Detection, and pull them together and really get the best of those and take them to markets in the Middle East, to the rest of Africa. We've got probably from the gas detection, we had a little bit more strength in Africa coming from those products. Okay. So actually the dynamic between the two brands now kind of helps us to fill some gaps between the portfolio we've had before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's definitely the market generally has seen quite a lot of mergers and acquisitions and growth in that way. And for us, sometimes you have to look at your own capabilities and look at your own knowledge and say, actually, there's companies out there that if we purchase them and we bring them into our environment, then we're going to have the right suite of products and the right knowledge to take that technology forward as well.
Bringing in
with gas detection in particular, it's another part of the firefighters' experience would be to ensure we understand what the
just like that journey you were talking about. That's
right.
Journey,
it's being able to be able to support them at every point. And again, there's no reason why some of the reads from the gas detectors wouldn't be able to be shown on a future version of a product like this. Okay. So it's kind of tying the whole thing together. And as I say, it's the more we can open ourselves up to the wider set of markets. Yeah, and absolutely. Middle East is quite unique for us as well, as that we sell both from specifically the fire perspective. Mm-hmm. We sell American NFPA products as well as EN standard products into the Middle East. So we have customers who are coming from both perspectives. So actually, from the fire point of view, we do have a lot more variety of product available here, and that. Often it comes down to people who've led fire departments maybe in the US or in Europe. Yes. It's what they're comfortable and what they are trained on, or what they want to share with their teams when they come and help organisations over here as well. Okay, excellent. So that can often be a determinant as to whether our European version of the products or our American version of the products are used. Okay, so you can service on both levels, really. Absolutely, yeah. So as I say, it's a fairly unique situation for us in the Middle East to be able to do that, and it makes for us at Intersec a really good environment to actually share both of those alternatives. Absolutely. Good.
Can I ask then, obviously technology is changing rapidly, advancing very quickly. What I suppose impact do you see technology having in your business over the next couple of years, and also outside of your business?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think for us, with the type of technology we've started to bring, I do think that as soon as you start connecting people to kind of wearable style technology, I think it opens up a whole new world of the way that things communicate with each other. And as soon as you're connected via, Bluetooth from one unit to another, or if you think about people who are in industrial scenarios, your confined spaces and things like that, being able to share with the rest of the world where you are, what your situation is, what's happening to you biometrically, what's happening to you in terms of the gases around you and all those sort of things. That's hugely valuable to be able to communicate that to the outside world. Absolutely. And in fact, a product we have that we're sharing this week as well is a system called COFDM, and it takes the thermal imaging not from this system but from the handheld, and allows communication to like an incident command that might be anywhere up to a few hundred meters away. Okay. Right. And what that should give us as time goes on with all of the different technology is less reasons for people to go closer to a scenario.
Yeah, absolutely.
We partnered with, back in the UK, we partnered with some of the very forward-thinking fire teams there, where they're sending robots in to actually go and get a thermal signature of the environment.
Okay.
They can take a gas detector in there as well.
Yeah.
Find out where where the fire is, where the intensity is, and then use what they call a cold cut system, which is another company has brought that technology to it.
Okay.
And actually locate and take down a fire a lot quicker.
Okay.
So all of that's being done by kind of like a bomb disposal style robot.
Sure.
So if you think about it now, a lot of the activity that would have had to happen so much closer to the fire, or to any incident really, can be done from a distance with people safely behind, safely behind a command center.
Saving lives.
Absolutely, that's right. And speed. The less we put, the less we put people in harm's way, the better. Really,
sure.
When you think about the scale of looking at safety, is you've got to firstly think about whether you're protecting yourself. Well, I guess actually, firstly, what you have to decide is, should you be there in the first place? Then you've got to say, well, am I being protected effectively? And then, if you can, and if the question to the first answer is opened up by technology, which is I don't have to be here, then that's even better.
Absolutely,
really.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be, I think the whole wearable technology. I think being able to, again, you can imagine a world where a firefighter might be able to head towards a building and actually have information that's coming from that building supplied to them, and being able to know, for instance, that because of access controls and indoors and stuff, where people are located in a building, or whether a sprinkler system has been engaged, or any of those things, that could all be information that could be interesting to...
It's providing that data that's essential for when
you're
in a decision-making situation.
That's right. And the more situational intelligence you have, the quicker you can be, the safer you can be, and hopefully the more lives can be saved, both from people who are civilians that are involved, or from the firefighters themselves.
Absolutely.
So I think it's an exciting time, and and that's really what attracts me to the market. I've had a background in technology myself, in IT, and I think coming to a market like this and seeing where we are in terms of that, that step change that could happen over the next few years.
Absolutely.
So we're limited by imagination in some ways, and that's a great way to be kind of looking at things, really.
No, that's excellent. I have one other question for you, and obviously you're at Intersect this year. What are you doing outside of Intersect to grow your brand and ensure the growth of your business over the next 18 years?
I think Intersect is a great kind of like moment in time for us to be able to communicate some of the things that are happening within the business. And what's really important for us is to kind of make sure that we make the most of it by in the build-up, engaging in social media, letting people know we're here.
Okay.
Engaging people with PR to let them know that there might be something interesting they might want to see. Working with our advertising partners as well to make sure that the message is out there, and then afterwards being able to use the leads that we generate here to really be nurtured over time, and find a natural conclusion where hopefully we have some more happy customers that we can then start talking to them again about maybe building their own little videos they can put up about how happy they are with their products. Fingers crossed on that.
It's
one.
good content.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, it's wonderful to see that, and that's one of the brilliant things about social media as well, is that being able to have in the context of what we've been talking about, firefighters sharing their experiences with each other, and really hearing it from them without it sounding like we're doing a public, like I suppose an advert or a broadcast.
It allows that kind of engagement and a two-way communication.
Yeah, and it's also it's honest feedback. There may be some when they comment on it, they may say there's things that they really love about it, but there's also things that they may want to see changed. And for us, being able to tap into that and say, hey, we want to hear about it. We want to see what those changes might be, see how it might be evolved.
Has social media been a big part of allowing you to get that kind of feedback that you've been looking for, or has it?
I think it plays its part. one of the things we've seen, I think our relationships with our firefighters when we're talking in this context is very strong, and because they want to be involved in projects like this. They, when you open up to them and say, look, we need a bit of your time, we need to ask you a few questions and see what your experiences are. It's this sort of thing that they love to do because it's fun, it's a little bit different, it gets them engaged in the future. But then having them communicate that to their colleagues around not only the rest of their department or the rest of the world is really great for us. And when you see all the comments that start coming in afterwards, where we almost providing that kind of that forum for discussion around the world, and I love that bit of it because I live in the UK. I've got an EMEA based Europe, Middle East and Africa job, but we're a US company, and seeing people from all walks of life and all experiences coming together and discussing their experiences on a social media feed is fantastic to see.
That's great.
And maybe something that wouldn't have happened a few years ago. And we have things like the World Police and Fire Games where we can get people together on that, and hopefully you might find that there's connections that were made on social media that might be they may be able to get to see each other in person at some point as well.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, Paul, thanks a million for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been a fantastic discussion. And best of luck with the rest of the show.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Great.